We made it to term 4. So in term 4, we covered first solving proportions. So we talked about how you can use cross multiplication to solve proportions, but you can also see if there's a relationship between your proportions. So, or your ratios. So I can see here there's a relationship between these two ratios, 3 to 5 and x to 25. So I notice that this ratio is 5 times bigger, which tells me that this value here is going to be 5 times bigger than 3. And 3 times 5 is 15. If we look here, the relationship between these two values is that this ratio over here is 10 times bigger. So I need to figure out what number times 10 gives me 120. And the answer is 12. And notice I'm writing x equals and a equals because I need to solve for the variable. All right, last solving proportion problem. I'm not seeing a relationship and I can't simplify. So here I'm going to use our cross multiplying. So 4 times x is 4x and 11 times 9 is 99. So right away I know I'm going to have a decimal in my answer. So now I'm going to divide because 4 times what is 99? Bruh, I don't know. I'm going to need to do the division. Okay, so dividing to see how many times 4 goes into 99. We're going to do this. Let's see, 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, 3. I get a remainder, so I drop a 0 down. Goes in 7 times, 28. Oh my gosh, I'm running into my next problem. I drop another 2. I drop another 0 down. 4 goes into 25 times. Oh my goodness. X equals 24.75. Whew, that was a big one. Okay, moving on to scale model and scale factor. A model house is built using a scale factor of 1 inch equals 3 feet. If the model house is 12.5 inches tall, then how tall is the actual house? All right, so scale factor and scale stuff, we always compare the model to the actual. So the scale factor is 1 inch of the model. 1 inch of the model equals 3 feet of the actual house. So if the model house is 12.5 inches, then how tall is the actual house? Okay, so I suggest using cross multiplying. 1 times x is just x. Oh my gosh, that's so lovely because now you just need to multiply 12.5 times 3 and that's going to give you your answer. Let's come over here. Multiply times 3. We're solving, lovely. And I have a decimal, so boom, boom. All right, so the actual house is 37.5 feet. Lovely. Okay, so, fractions, decimals, percents, all these things. Okay, so I'm going to take this decimal, I'm going to write it as a fraction. 8 hundredths, 8 hundredths. That is not in simplest form. I'm going to divide each of these by 4 and I get 2 25ths. Wabam. So what is this as a percent? I'm going to move the decimal over 2 times. It is 8%. All right, 19 hundredths. 19 hundredths. That is in simplest form. What is 19 hundredths as a percent? I move the decimal twice. 1, 2. It is 19%, just like that. All right, 90% as a fraction. Our percents are always out of 100. 90 over 100. If I divide each of these by 10, I get 9/10, and that is our fraction in simplest form. As a decimal, I divide by 100. Boom, boom. 2 places going the opposite direction. So as a decimal, it is 90 hundredths, or you can write it like this, 9/10. All right, 6% as a fraction is 6 out of 100. That is not in simplest form. I'm going to divide these by 2, and I get 3/50. That is my fraction in simplest form. 6% as a decimal, I divide by 100 once, twice, just like that. So my decimal is going to be 0 point, because there's an empty space right here, 6 hundredths, just like that. 211%. That is 211 over 100. That is an improper fraction. So I need to turn this into a mixed number. 100 can go into 211 two full times. That's 200 with a remainder of 11. So 2 and 11 hundredths, which, okay, as a decimal, we divide by 100. Boom, boom. Move the decimal over once, twice. As a decimal, 211% is 2 and 11 hundredths. 2 and 11 hundredths. All right. This is the problem where you have to write 3/8 just as a decimal. So to write 3/8 as a decimal, you divide the numerator by the denominator. So 8 doesn't go into 3, but 8 can go into 30. Let's see. 3 times, we get 24. Subtract, you get 6. I'm going to drop a 0 down. 8 goes into 67 times is the closest we get, and that gives us 56. We get a remainder of 4. I'm going to drop another 0 down. 8 goes into 40 5 times perfectly. So 3/8 as a decimal is 0.375 or 375 thousandths. All right. Percents. Turning these fractions into percents. So I'm going to start by turning this into a decimal first, because it's really easy to turn a decimal into a percent. So I'm going to divide to see how many times 5 goes into 4. It doesn't, so I put a decimal, but 5 goes into 40. All right, so as a decimal, it's 0.8. To turn this into a percent, I multiply times 100. 1, 2, wha-bam. What is 4/5 as a percent? It is 80%. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to turn this into a decimal first, and then I'm going to write it as a percent. So 50 doesn't go into 31, but it goes into 300. Let's see, 50 goes into 306 times. And I subtract and I get 10. I bring a 0 down, and 50 goes into 100 twice. So I get 62 hundredths is my decimal. To turn that into a percent, multiply by 100 once, twice. Ta-da! 62%. All right, finding percentages of stuff. Easiest way to do it is to use the multiplication method, where you turn the percent into a decimal and multiply. So again, watch. So 8% as a decimal, 1, 2, and then you multiply. That's the best way to do it. Turn 125%, 1.25 times 7. 5.6. Okay, I'm going to turn it 1, 2. Ooh, I went a little too crazy there. So it is 56 thousandths times 13. That's the first thing you want to do, is turn all of those percents into decimals. So I can do this one mentally, because 12 times 6 is 72. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 72 hundredths. Let's see. Ooh, I cannot do this one in my head, but I'm going to multiply my non-zeros. 76. Okay, so now 1, 2, 1, 2. Boom, 7.60 or 7.6 is 8% of 95. All right, now I'm going to multiply 125. See, I included the decimal here. It doesn't matter. I can just multiply 125 times 7. Don't matter. Let's see, 14 plus 3, 17, 8. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Boom, 8.75 is 125% of 7. All right, last but not least, okay, for this one, I'm definitely not going to include my zeros. All I know is that I'm going to have 3 places behind the decimal in my answer. I don't want to deal with zeros. It's crazy business. All right, I'm multiplying, I'm placeholding, I'm multiplying more, and now I'm adding 8, 12, 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right, so the 5.6% of 13 is 728 thousandths. All right, the last thing we covered, which a lot of people said they were confused about, is of course the most important and most realistic thing that you're going to be using percentages for. So, discount problems. A $40 jacket is on sale for 20% off. What is the discounted price of the jacket? Well, the first thing you want to find is what is 20% of 40. So I'm going to use mental math. I know that 10% of 40 is 40 divided by 10, which is 4. So if I multiply that by 2 to get 20%, it's 8. Okay, so what this tells me is I get $8 off a $40 jacket. So what is the sale price, or what's the discount price? It's going to be 40 minus 8. 32 doll hairs for a jacket. All right. Ooh, okay, more discount stuffs. A $600 snowboard is on sale for 25% off. How much money can you save with this discount? Okay, so this is asking how much money you get to take off of the $600. So, how do I want to do this? I think I'm going to use my mental math method, which 25%, you can find 25% of anything by dividing by 4. So I'm going to divide 600 by 4. Okay, I'm doing that. Ooh, okay. So 0. All right, so, oh my gosh, that is a massive discount. You get to save $150. That is the money you get to save. If you wanted to find the discount price, you would take 600 and then subtract 150. But this is how much money you would save if you got 25% off. You get to save $150. Pretty sweet deal. All right, you buy hand sanitizer for $8 at Target. You decide to mark up the price 300% and sell it on eBay. I might have an ethical dilemma with that. What is the markup price of the hand sanitizer? Okay, so mental mathing, 100% of 8 is 8. If you multiply by that 3, you get 300%. So 8 times 3 is 24. You are selling that hand sanitizer on eBay for $24. Shame on you. But also I respect the hustle. Okay, last one. You want to sell t-shirts to raise money. You pay $20 for the shirt and decide to mark up the price 80% in order to make a profit. What is the markup price of your shirt? So the first thing, you need to find 80% of 20. So again, I'm going to use mental math because these are really lovely and easy to do. So 10% of 20, 20 divided by 10 is 2. All right, so if I want to find 80%, I can multiply times 8. 80 times 8, 16. Okay, so $16. That's 80% of 20. So you are marking up the price by $16. So the new price of the shirt is going to be 20 plus 16. $36. That is the marked up price. You did it. You made it. Congratulations. Please come to office hours on Monday if you have any questions about anything that was covered in the study guide. All right. Have a great weekend.